me, Maxie, we missed you off the recorded bit. We will crop off the obviously, you know, your kind of names on the side, so we make sure that your images and names don't appear on the side there. But if you do, there is quite a lot of information tonight, so please feel free to, obviously, once that's up on the school website, watch back anything else that you want to. We're going to talk through quite a bit of information tonight, and like I say, there'll be opportunity for you to ask questions in chat. But we wanted to start by, obviously, Miss Baxter has started to, but there's a whole host of staff who are supporting the Year 10s on their journey this year. So obviously there's Miss Baxter, who you know really well. There's me and Miss Giroux as assistant head teachers. There's Miss Sawa, who is head of upper school, and will work with your Year 10 students throughout Year 10 and Year 11. So they've got that kind of continuous provision and pastoral support. Working with us is Miss Banger, who's the deputy head teacher, but then we also have a number of additional staff as well. Miss Preston is our achievement team leader, and she'll work really closely with Year 10 to help them with things like study skills, revision, college, further careers, further education and things like that. We get a lot of input this year from Miss Patrick, who's our careers advisor, and you know, she's an invaluable resource that we've got there. And we've also got 2 pastoral mentors. So we've got Mr. Rochford, or Rocky, as your child might refer to them, and we've got Miss Gunville, who is also known as Kelsey. So if you hear those names, that's who they are. And we form the Year 10 team, and we work really closely with all of Year 10 students. So there is quite a lot that we're hoping to cover this evening. Some of it will be more pertinent to you, and perhaps some of it you will be less interested in, but we try to cover as much as possible, and then, you know, hopefully we can address any questions that people have got. Okay then, so we've worked really hard on our school curriculum, as you will know from when your children were further down in school, and the Year 10 curriculum moving into Year 11 is no different. It's best that you have a little look at this so that you can look at specifics that you're interested in. And the best way you can find anything that your child is learning about in their different subjects by logging onto the school website. When you get to the homepage, if you select Students' Life, and you can then see this blue drop-down box. If you select Year 10 academic curriculum, you've then got the options for all of the different subject areas that your child might be studying. And if you select whichever one you're interested in, it will show you what students are studying in each of the half terms. So, you know, if you're interested, for example, in what's going on in science in this half term, selecting on that will allow you to, you know, get a bit of an insight. And there will be things on there as well, like, you know, what kind of assessments children are getting in this half term, you know, what their assessed pieces are going to be, what kind of things they will be doing for their home study. So hopefully that should be your first port of call for any kind of curriculum based questions that you've got. Okay, so in terms of our learning environment, if you were able to attend any of the Year 9 parent information evenings last year, you'll be familiar with us talking about our CHS scholar habits. We're continuing those this year. We know that they were really successful with preparing students last year for lots of their different academic subjects, and really setting up students brilliantly for, you know, making sure that they were successful. And we're continuing that this year. So we're making sure that we really prioritise and we instill in our students the importance of having a learning environment that's calm and focused, that we have habits and routines, and that we embrace struggle and repetition. We try to normalise the fact that not everything is going to be easy, but we work together, we keep working hard, and it's through that we get success in the end. And we're going to keep coming back to this time and again through assembly, through our pastoral curriculum, and reinforcing that in the different subjects as well. We've talked to students quite a lot last year, and we've started to do it again. I think it was in assembly, I think it was this morning actually. It feels like a much longer ago than this morning. But I talked to students about, actually, why do we need habits, and routines? Why is it so important that, you know, lessons start off in the same way, and that we do similar kind of routines in different lessons? And we've talked to them about the fact that their sensory memory, their short-term memory is really finite. There's only so much that we can hold in that, and everything that all of our senses, everything that we might pick up goes first of all into our sensory memory. And actually, if we're going to remember things longer term, we need to make sure that we're really trying to push that into our long-term memory. So we've talked about the fact that the more distractions there are in lessons, for example, having your phone out or hearing it vibrate, or knowing that it's vibrated in your pocket, any little thing might distract us from our learning. So we've talked about actually all the routines and the kind of rules that we have in school. They're there to make sure that we've got this really solid learning environment so that we can learn more and remember more. We've also talked about how they can take that into their home study as well. So actually, it's really important that they're concentrating when they're doing the home learning and their home study, that they've not got, kind of, I don't know what social media networks, TikTok open, for example, in the background, that they're not checking the notifications and things like that whilst they're doing home study, that they're really focused. Because obviously, the more focused they are, the more likely that learning is going to go into their long-term memory, which is obviously, what our goal is. We've got to be able to retrieve that at the end of these GCSE courses. So you'll hear, if students talk to you about memory, or you might want to say, oh, I don't know, sometimes it's nice to have a bit of ammo, isn't it, for why the telly and the music shouldn't be on in the background when they're doing the home study. So hopefully that's just a little bit of extra information so that we can all be joined up with the kind of messages that we're giving. We will be talking to year 10 as well about how they can, the importance of what happens in lesson, but also making sure that they're kind of self-regulating, that they know what it's going to look like for really effective study, both in school and at home. And we, as form tutors and as a pastoral team, we're really encouraging students to kind of check in with themselves about these kind of questions. Have you been in every day? Have you been on time to all your lessons? How are your books looking? When have you overcome a challenge? And I think that question in green there is really important for students to reflect on. It is going to be tricky. There are going to be moments over this, this next academic year where they're going to face challenges. And as we know, it's by facing those challenges, working with their teachers, working with their peers, that they can overcome those challenges. And we really learn something about ourselves, don't we? We really develop our resilience. And it's lovely. One of the reasons I do this job is because it is so lovely to see young people think that they're going to find something tricky, but then overcome that and feel so proud of what they've accomplished. And I think one of our jobs as a pastoral team is to catch students when that happens and to help them to realise that they are capable of so much more than they realise. And we will help to do that through form time as well. And actually as well, the last one there, really making sure that young people are keeping up to date with their home learning tasks so they can get into those really positive home study routines. Okay then, so as well as a pastoral curriculum, as well as our academic curriculum, we take mental health provision really seriously, and we wanted to make parents and carers aware of what our universal offer is, the different types of support that are available. And so you can see them all on the screen here. So we have a really extensive mental fitness offer to support our young people's mental health, and we know that that's a really important part of our pastoral role. In terms of universal provision, all students have access to the mental fitness universal provision, and information about what's covered is outlined in our Respect framework. So you can access that through the school website and that blue link that I showed you before. So it's on the Respect framework for learning and the mental fitness framework, which is available on our school website. We also have interventions at wave 1, and these need no referral. Okay. These are things that heads of year, form tutors, subject teachers can easily put into place that can support students. We've also, though, you can see there's some examples there. So timeout pass might come from head of year, and we have quiet spaces, one-to-one touch bases that might take place during form time or after school. We can direct towards websites that can be helpful and internet support. We have in some interventions, though, that are by referral, and these are our wave 2 and wave 3 interventions. And these are referrals that are made by Ms. Baxter, so the head of year. There are waiting lists for these, unfortunately. It's the nature of things that are kind of health-wise at the moment. However, if your child is on a waiting list and you know a referral has been made, If you go to the mental fitness page of the website, Artemis Shiveris, you can find out more information about that referral process, how long things might take. But also at the end of this PowerPoint, I'm going to show you our email addresses. So if you've not already been in contact with Miss Baxter or myself about anything, if there is something else that you want to ask about in terms of mental fitness provision or making a referral, please get in touch with us basically.
It's on a link afterwards if you
lastly, sorry, I'm just going to mute someone. Lastly, our Wave 4 provision are outside services that school can refer to, and you can see some of them there. We've got really close links with lots of Wave 4 providers. But what I would also say is that if you are concerned about your child for any reason, please let us know in school, but also, making a GP appointment and kind of speaking to your GP. Sometimes a GP referral can be a quicker way of accessing some of those Wave 4 provisions. Okay then, so we're on a magical mystery tour of different topics. So we're going from mental fitness provision, and we're now going to have a little look at a little reminder about reading. We'll have talked during, or Miss Baxter and the Year 9 team will have talked last year, and it's the same expectation for Year 10. We know that one of our really important CHS kind of scholar habits is reading, and making sure that students develop a real love of reading where possible. We know that everybody's got a different relationship with reading and a different relationship with reading for pleasure. We know though as well that the reading ages for the GCSE exams are quite high. I think the average kind of reading age for the exams is 15 years 7 months. So we're really committed to making sure that students are able to read at chronological age, and that we put interventions into place where that isn't possible, but where that isn't yet the case. But making sure that students read for pleasure is something that we really try to encourage. It doesn't matter if it's a magazine, it doesn't matter if it's fiction, non-fiction. Your child will have a different relationship with reading. Some of the students are really pressed for time, and we know that. Listening to an audiobook on their way to a club, that absolutely counts. There's real value in listening to audiobooks. So we're really just trying to encourage young people to read where they can do, trying to aim for an hour a week, and that'll look different for different students. If you do want any advice, or you want kind of any book recommendations, please get in touch with me. I'm the person who leads kind of like reading in school, and I'll be able to put you in touch with our brilliant library team if you want some kind of recommendations, or you want some advice about kind of engaging young people with reading. Okay then, so our CHS scholar habits. I've talked about a couple of them, and you probably will have seen this slide before, but we've got 7 CHS scholar habits, and research and experience tells us that these are the habits really that enable our young people to succeed. Sorry, I lost my train of thought then. We know that by developing those kind of learning habits in our young people, we're setting them up not just for best chance at GCSE, but they're the kind of like life habits that we need to succeed in whatever aspects, whatever careers we're going into, whatever further study we're going into. We're going to start this year really by focusing on 3. And we're going to talk to these a lot this half term with students. We're looking at organise, attention, and home study. So really making sure that we're setting up young people at the start of their Year 10 journey with these kind of really important ones that'll get them started on the best possible foot. And next half term, we're going to focus much more closely on reading and literacy. Thank you. There's so much going on in the background. I'm so sorry. Can I change the slide? Okay, sorry about that. So extracurricular, you know this by now, you're familiar with the school. We've got blinking loads going on in terms of extracurricular, and that doesn't change because young people are going into Year 10. All the clubs are bookable through Arbor, and this slide was sent out, this presentation was put together last week, so information should be being sent home very soon about how that happens. But It just means then that young people know exactly how many places there are at different clubs, and they know which ones and when they can get to those clubs. But there continues to be, you know, some really excellent clubs available to young people. So we would really encourage them and we are encouraging them to get involved with those. It's fantastic, not just for their own mental health and well-being and for doing something that they love, but I think it's really important as they start the GCSE journeys that they've got those kind of passions and interests. As we all know, that wider kind of that wider experience of school is really important. There continues to be LE days and social action plays. Year 10 will be having a social action play as part of their respects lessons this year, and that'll be happening later. I don't know just off the top of my head exactly what the focus will be, but you can see some examples of some of the ones that we've looked at in the past with Year 10 on that slide there. And we are having every year we have a chosen charity, and the Year 10 charity is Hate Crime. So as we do our many drives this year, you know, raising money, it will be for hate crime charities that we're raising money for this year. Okay. It is a random mix of things that we're looking at, so I apologize. So we're going from kind of enrichment to digital safety. We always have to cover this, and I know, and it's really just so that you know the kind of messages that we're giving to young people, because we have issues in terms of digital safety every single year. You will be aware of the kind of things that might crop up, but we talk to students about the importance of making sure that the usernames and passwords are really private for their own personal devices, but also for their school ones. Some of them still have Chiltern as their password. We need, and we talk to them about the importance of changing that. You know, we talk to them about the fact that their passwords and their usernames need to not be easy to guess, that they're mixing up uppercase and lowercase lettering, and you know, it's just, you know, please make sure that if your young person might not be aware of those things, that you just have a little bit of reminder of that. It just can head any issues off at the pass, basically. As you know, there's loads of social media apps. We talk about this aspect because parents quite often ask us to kind of give some recommendations, and we deal with issues in terms of social media every single week. The best advice that we can give is just really encourage your child to be open about the accounts that they've got, so that, you know, you're aware of what they're using, and that if you've got any concerns with any of those with any of those apps, you can contact school, you can contact us for some advice, and that happens regularly. We would advise that where possible, you know, you encourage your child to not take their mobile device into their bedroom at night time, so that they're downstairs in the living room, you know, when they're in bed. It helps to maintain those boundaries in terms of sleep time, and you know, when they can be being social, but also, you know, it instills some of those boundaries, basically. Thank you. Doing a lot of talking. I'll be passing over to somebody else soon. You'll be relieved to hear. As you know, too much screen time can be just before bed, particularly just before bed, can be damaging, especially, you know, for adolescents. We're dealing with students every day who have got disrupted sleep patterns and who basically get hold of the wrong end of the day and are struggling to concentrate in lesson because they've just got their bedtimes messed up, basically. We encourage young people to not access their devices between half an hour and an hour before bed, so that they're not getting that blue light just before they go to bed, but also so their brain's got time to kind of wind down. If you want any advice, if you're saying those messages and you feel like you're banging your head on a brick wall, please let us know, and we can reinforce that with your young person as well. We're more than happy to do that, so that they know we're all kind of united on this front. Okay then, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about, just very quickly, and we're all talking about this for all of the different year groups, is just our communication charter, which hasn't changed since last year. So obviously, you know, we are contactable via our emails, we are contactable via telephone. What we say is, in terms of our communication charter, which is available on our website, but there's just a few key points. So We've asked staff to respond to queries within 3 working days and within working hours. So if it's urgent, please feel free, obviously, to kind of contact us. We will get back to you as soon as we can. But, you know, that's what we've said to staff, that the expectation is that within 3 days. It will be as soon as possible, but within 3 days. Please make sure that you direct your communications to the relevant curriculum leader or teacher if your query is subject-based, or your head of year if it's more general nature. If you're not sure who to send it to, please feel free to send it to one of us and we will forward it on to the relevant member of staff. If it's urgent, if you're ringing and it's urgent, you know, you need to speak to somebody, just let reception know that it's urgent. They will try and contact the head of year or a member of SLT. And like I say, we will always try to get back to you as soon as possible. It's just we've got to be realistic that sometimes it's not possible to get back to you immediately. If you want to meet with us, we love meeting face to face. We think it's the best form of communication, but we're not always available if you drop into reception. You know, a lot of the pastoral, a lot of us on this board here teach. Miss Baxter's got a lot of meetings and a lot of, you know, kind of, she spends the majority of her time checking up on young people and working with the young people. So, you know, if you do want to meet with us, we love like face-to-face meetings, but please make sure that, you know, it's better and more convenient for you if you contact us and arrange that meeting in advance, just so that, you know, you're not sat in reception waiting around for us, basically. And if you would like a summary version of our communication, it is available on our website under the Parents tab, and there's a Parents notice board, and you can find any information there on that as well. So there's just a little bit of information now, because we know that things are incredibly tight in terms of cost of living. Everybody's feeling it, and we wanted to really make it explicit about how your young person can make the most out of the kind of the availability at the canteen. So the best value option for lunch is a meal deal. So those are £2.80, and you can see what's on offer there. Students can have, if they come in from 8 o'clock, they can have a free breakfast. So, you know, we always encourage people, that's free for everybody, okay? So we always encourage young people to get into school a little bit early and to make the most of that. Fruit is free, and, you know, we will always, we remind people when if there's changes in pricing in terms of the catering, we always show young people what the best value is that they can get. But, you know, if anybody wants, you know, any further information about that, then please let us know, and we can, you know, we can talk you through like best value things. A little bit of information there. Free breakfast, free break time snack, of porridge, toast and fruit we've got. You can order a soup and a roll for £1. Yeah, free school meals allowance is £2.80 each day. So if your child does use that allowance at break time, there's nothing left at lunch. So they need to choose wisely. They can do it really wisely, though, by selecting the free options, you know, earlier in the day, and then spending that on their lunch. That's what we always advise them. But just so you're aware of that as well, basically. And then this is you. I'm conscious that we've had quite a few questions coming in on the chat, so we will look at those, and towards the end we'll skip through them. Do you want to introduce some of those now?
Just there's only one I think I'm reading, so that could be.
Okay, so I can see Kate, you've asked about reading lists and book recommendations. Yeah, on our school website, if you, I'm trying to remember what the file path is. If you click on student life, there is an option there for reading, and what we've got under there, and also under the different curriculum areas, every single subject area has a departmental reading list. So I think it's Joel, isn't it? I think you're Joel's mum, if I remember from year 7. If your child particularly likes, for example, science, you might want to click on that. On the science departmental reading list and see what's available there. Might be something that, you know, really floats his boat. Or we also have a number of reading lists that are available on the school website for different age groups, and also for, you know, if your child is a more reluctant reader. If you can't find those, or if you want a bit of further information, please feel free to email me. My email address will be on the last slide of this PowerPoint, and I'll send you some stuff over as well. In terms of getting in touch with the Senko, and to arrange a face-to-face or even a call, absolutely. What I would say is, if you send one of us an email tomorrow, and like I say, the email addresses are on the last slide, we can forward it on to the SEN team and to Miss Stapley, who's the Senko.
Okay, thank you, Miss Morgan. There's a lot to take, but that information is necessary, so you know that what we're doing in school. So my job, I'm a head of upper school, and I deal with year 10s and 11s. So when your children will be in year 11, I will be still dealing with them, especially with the colleges, the personal development. And if you look at on this slide, the personal development bit, the one in pink, and that is my role. So I make sure that they are developing personally and they are meeting, to be honest, the 2 years GCSE curriculum. That is not easy. So I make sure that they get all the skills, they develop all those skills during these 2 years process, and they are more develop more employability skills, the leadership skills, the study skills, the revision skills, independent study skills. And also they are ready to know more about what the career options. So that is my role. And also overview their academic curriculum as well, that they're doing well in their exams, or their efforts are good, and all that. And the enrichment thing is basically completely personal. So that is the basically year 10 roadmap. And if you look at here,
Take the chat off so you can see who needs to be admitted.
okay,
Anyone needs admitted.
people, there's no one there. Yeah. Okay, so there is a year 10 roadmap, if you can see, and then the way the year 10 started this year, they had the year 9 bag, and they had all their knowledge of the extended knowledge of the GCSE key stage 3 subjects. They had their summer results, and we used those summer results as an initiative, okay, for this year. And we started targeting students, especially the ones they didn't put a lot of effort in their lessons, and we had some kind of interventions for them, and it's like a coaching time, academic coaching. So year team has already started with those students. Their effort grades last year were 3s and 4s, and also their extended learning expectation and experience. They also have achieved, and I have to say they did really good with the SSAT, and that is like one of the leadership activities they have done, and they have achieved bronze and silver awards, and they have developed some revision skills. So this is what they have carried from last 3 years. So this year is all, you know, what we will be focusing on to make sure they step up for GCSEs, because they have to do their GCSEs in 2 years' time. So it will be a very dense year for them, where they have to absorb as much information as they can. And that's what I was talking to Ms. Baxter this morning. I just said we need to look at attendance, make sure the attendance and punctuality is crucial, because if you miss one lesson, you're missing a lot. Okay, so make sure that your child attends every day. And if they do miss lessons, please ask your child to communicate with that teacher, whoever lesson they have missed, and catch up with the work, because that's the only way they can be on top of everything. And these are the messages we are giving them during assembly time, form time, tutor time, and whenever Miss Baxter is always on the corridors, and the same messages she's giving them as well. So make sure they take books home. You look at their books, what they have done, and when they go home, they basically add more notes, power of review. That's the other message we're giving them. So whatever they have done, suppose I'm a physics teacher, I'm a science teacher. So what we have done, they've done something on heart. So they go home and add additional notes on heart. That means they should be using the revision guides. They should be using subject specification. And that's the only way they can have the deeper knowledge about their subjects. That's the only way they can move forward, and then make some little revision cards or cue cards. So when they got the progress test in springtime, they will be more ready. So that is the roadmap for year 10. As you can see, there's a post-16 evening coming up, and there is also the work experience. They will be completing their NEAs, and they will be doing LE days. They will have the college taster days at the end of the year. And they will be also completing their leadership award, that is idea award, and they will be completing their year portfolios for year 11s, and we are make sure that we're preparing them for year 11s. So these dates are crucial. These dates are really, really important. And since the past few days, Ms. Baxter is going around and reminding students about the consent forms, because we do need the consent forms back as soon as possible. So we can say, so we got your consent, so we can go ahead with the work experience. There's also the self-placement deadline, that is 29th of September. That is crucial because the students have to find their own self-placements. And when they find the placement, they have to achieve the liability insurance, because without the liability insurance and the employers have to complete the self-placement form, the two things we need from you back by 29th of September. So please go. I think we have done the assembly before we break up, and the students were aware that they had 6 weeks holidays to look around, and they might be speaking to you about this. But it's nice to have their own placement where they like, where they enjoy. And it is very hard to find the work placement, you know, because more or less 90% of the whole Manchester schools, they will be doing the work experience in February time. So please go around, and if somebody does make promises that yes, we will have your child for a week, then please get that form signed. Take your forms, the form with you, and get the liability insurance straight away from them. So that's one thing, and that's a massive thing, because the work experience, a lot of investment been put in place by school, and not many schools do work experience, but we personally think that when they do the work experience and they have to do the successful work experience, that is another life skills, and also their personal statement looks brilliant. They can write half of a paragraph on their personal statement about when they're applying for the colleges. And that's where Zavarian College and Loretto College, they do like to read our personal statements, and also they do like to offer places, because our personal the way what they write on our personal statement, our students, they talk about their experiences. Next one is very important date for your diary is the post-16 evening, is 12th of October. And the timing will be 7:30 till 8:30. The attendance is going to come, and then there will be lots of colleges, apprenticeship people. There will be people that are offering T-levels, and lots of other agencies. They will be there for you, and then you can go around and collect the prospectuses, ask questions. If you come on time, that would be brilliant, because the Zavarian and Loretto queues are massive. And sometimes, you know, it's not easy to see them. But I also have given yesterday it's called college events. So then the whole Manchester, where the college is holding their open events. And that is those events basically, if they can also on MS Teams as well. So have a look, and if you want to join those colleges, please liaise with the colleges and book those events. Some colleges you just open, and some colleges no. You know, you can just go and explore the colleges. Right, and you're the first one out of 5 years. You know, the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're the first one. In-person parents' evening will take place.
Yay!
19th of October. You're going to meet all your teachers, and you're also going to meet the year team. And so please make sure that you do attend. We will send the information the week before when the parents' evening will start. Key stage 4 is quite different. So what we think we need to start looking at to those people, they are putting effort in lessons or not. Are they engaged in their lessons? Are they enjoying their lesson? So you will receive the reports and there is a date on the report. I think I did put the date in for, and that is 26th of September. In 2 weeks' time, you're going to receive your first ever Key Stage 4 report on effort only. So effort for homework and effort in lessons. And that report is going to tell you as well that how they are doing in school, how they're doing in their homework and all that. And we find it very, very useful, especially me as a head of upper school. that it gives us the starting point, and give us the chance to speak to the students, the ones they're not putting effort in. And we do talk about the effort grade, what a good effort grade look like and what the bad effort grade looks like. Okay, so that will give you some bit more insight what's happening in lessons and what's happening in school. And then academic reports will be after progress tests, and the progress tests the first progress test will be during January time, and that is I think January, I think at the mid-January. So that will be the first sets of exams the year 10s will have, and then it will be the end of summer. So there are 2 progress checkpoints where we will be testing their knowledge. Okay, right. And what they are doing at form time. And the form time is, as I said, that we are future focused. That is all about future skills and careers. So form time is quite important. Form time is not where they just sit there, chit chat, and do. There are times on Fridays where basically the activities organized by the form tutors. But the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is quite packed. Okay, and we focus on the employability skills. We focus on the study skills. We make them prepare for the exams. That is like a revision skills. And also we're going to talk about communication, team working, problem solving, and that comes under the employability skills. And these skills, this is what when the students are in a work placement, these are skills what the employees are looking for. So we make sure that we do train them we do touch base them so they develop those skills. And then if you look at autumn 2 is all about self-management, planning and organizing, and learning. And spring 1 is negotiating skills, and spring 2 is mapping the journey to year 11. And summer 1 is GCSEs to careers and pathways, and summer 2 is college taster days, mock exams and all that. And this week, and for this term, we're focusing on the study plan at home. Okay, when the students go home, what they do, how they plan their studies, and then it just carries on, as you can see. But for leadership skills, we're going to basically, so first time we're going to launch, they did last year SSAT, but this year is IDEA Award. An IDEA Award is basically all about Digital Enterprise Award, and they will get a chance in school every Thursday and Friday. Half of the year is going to do on Thursday, half of the year is going to do on Friday. We will book the computer rooms, and they're going to start their IDEA Award. And there's a lot of things we will be working on, and we'll make sure that those, whatever tasks they are doing, they are related to what they're doing in school, and also work experience related as well. What they will be improving is their enhance their skills and knowledge, improve their digital literacy, staying safe online, and discover their hidden talents, and they will be more confident with the technology. Okay, so this is what they will be doing. So if you can look at the autumn 1 is all about entrepreneur skills, and then all about that is negotiation and communication skills and all that. I was doing the other day, I thought let's start and let's see what it looks like, and it was on growth mindset, and it was brilliant. The level 1 was all about get to know whether you got the growth mindset and fixed mindset. Then level 2 was all about how you can move from fixed mindset to growth mindset, and level 3 was there was a bit of a case study. So it's really interesting, and it's different, and the IDEA Awards is recognized by the colleges, and the IDEA Award is recognized by the universities as well. Okay, and they will get the badges for every time they pass each level. They will get the badges, and they will get the certificate. They start from the bronze, silver, and gold, but we will give them a chance to do a form time. Students can do at home, and students will be also the IDEA Club for year 10. I think I haven't got the confirmation yet. I think every Wednesday there will be a club as well where they can catch up with the with those leaders, the idea type task the students have started. Once they start, and some people just love it and they just carry on and do complete the rest very fast. But it is really crucial that they do complete, because these are the extra skills and something they will be the first one. I will just say in a whole, I will just say past 20 years I've been teaching in here, they will talk about idea award, and they will, when they're writing their personal statements. But we will give them a chance to make sure that they at least get bronze, and then if it's silver, and if it's, oops, the whole thing vanish.
Okay.
Where is the PowerPoint gone? The PowerPoint gone.
Oh, what have you done, Jamila?
I didn't do anything.
No, it's okay. Hang on. I'm busy responding to the chat. So that's what
Is
I'm
that
trying
you,
to do
I
in the
think?
background. Yeah, sorry. Is it me that's putting you off? You might just have to click onto the slide.
Yeah. So if we can maybe do the chart later on, then.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was helping.
Yes, you have been helping. Don't worry. Let me just go where I was. Right. Okay. I did. Okay. Right. Okay. So we will be also focusing on the career education Thursdays and Fridays, when the half of the year will be doing idea, and they will be basically, they will have lots of chances to improve their skills on employability, qualification, post-16 pathways. So they will have more awareness about the A-levels, apprenticeship, T-levels, and any other post-16 pathways. Okay, so they will have those sessions with us. Right, before I move on, that is the consent form for work experience. This needs, there are about 240, 299 students in a year, and 240 has returned. So there are 60, I will just say students that haven't. So can you please check their bags and then speak to your child that have they returned the consent forms or not? And that's a self-placement form. And as you can see, this session over here, that it has to be completed by the employer. And then we need your signature and your child's signature. But the second sheet needs to be completed by the employer. It's crucial that they complete the both sides. Okay. And a post-16 preparation, I know it's on 12th of October, and there's a lot of colleges. You can see William Hume, Wally Range, Parswood, Levenshulme, Disbury High. It's the new school, and they are taking lots of our kids recently. Trinity, Salford College, Manchester College, Trafford, Bolton, Bury, and Media City, Connell College, Xavier and Loreto, apprenticeship providers, Army and Navy. Everyone will be under one roof. But we will prepare them, also the students, when they will come to the post-16 evening, and they make sure that we make sure that they ask decent questions, they are prepared, and majority of the time they just surprise us because they are already aware what they want to do. If they are not, they do ask very good questions. Okay. College open days are this one, and that's the sheet already on MS Teams. So I just suggest if you can just have a look and you can write down on your diary when the college open days are. We do ask, and I was saying to them yesterday, to year 11s as well, that we do ask year 11s to apply for 3 colleges. Okay, so we got the plan A and plan B and plan C. Okay. Now, the home study is slightly different this year. And as you can see that when they are at home, I know they have the 5 hours of studies in school, but when they go home, we encourage them to review their work. We encourage them to do homework, and it is crucial. So 1.5 hours of English, maths and science per week, 1.5 hours for language per week, up to 2 hours per fortnight for the humanities, and up to 2 hours per fortnight for an option subject. So they will get the homework that covers that many hours. Maths homework is set on Sparks, and I know the parents get notifications straight away when they do not complete their homework on time. Please make sure that they do 100% of their homework, because I have seen it, just like today, the maths department was showing me year 11 homework, and a student only completed 18%, and they think it's okay. But make sure they do complete 100% of their homework and find out what they have achieved in their homework. And maths department is very proactive with they do the Sparks Club as well, and they do communicate with the year team and the parents very fast if they haven't done their homework and if their homework is not up to a standard.
And can I also say that there is a homework club for the Sparks maths, which I will let you know what day.
Wednesday.
It'll be on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So the students can stay after school to use the library or to have access to any of the members of staff if they are struggling. We are here for your students.
Yeah, so every Wednesday they set the homework on Sparks and they give the 1 week time and they check again. Okay, then Educate is something new we just have started. Okay, so they started in English and science and computing, and we do set homework on Educate, but those students will be receiving, there's some paper copies as well, as depend what kind of topic they are doing, but you won't get notifications, so you have to log on to their account to see what they have done and what they haven't done. MFL and the languages, French and Spanish, is set on Quizlet. And same again, you won't get notification, but they do have login details. You ask your child, show me your Quizlet logins, and have a look what they have done and what they haven't done. And same for the MS Teams, will never go anywhere. There will be a homework on MS Teams. Please do check. So these are to make sure that our students are GCSE ready. We have got 4 different tools to make sure that they are doing their homework and they're doing their homework up to a standard. Okay, and so these are the main platforms. We also have got GCSE Pod, quite popular with GCSE students, and Seneca. Not every teacher uses Seneca. I use GCSE Pod, and some science teachers they use Seneca, but they're as good as each other. It's depend on the topic, it's depend on the teacher. So all these, there are about 6-7 platforms we use to make sure they are GCSE ready. But then again, you will be receiving a report in 2 weeks' time. If the homework is an issue, it will be highlighted. It could be a good starting point for you as well. Okay, why you got 3 for your homework, why you got 4 for your homework, 1s and 2s is the best. Right, progress test. For spring term and summer term, I spoke to you before, they will be tested twice and focus on basically what they have learned in a whole term. So we're doing in science the B1, the part 1 biology, so they will be tested everything what we have done in biology for spring term. So speak to the students and ask students to get the PLCs and whatever they will be tested on. So I want them to have that kind of a conversation with the teachers of what they will be tested on. But we will provide you the topics, we will provide you what they will be tested on. Revision timetables will be discussed during form time, and also when you will receive the timetable, English, maths, and science dates will be fixed, but the option subjects will do the exams in different time. They will have a different time period for that. But we will communicate in the key stage 4. Do communicate with the parents about the progress test in advance. So you will receive the information before they break up for Christmas holidays. Okay, so the dates. There you go. Got the dates. It's 26th of January for the spring 1 and 27th of June for the summer 2. And these 2, the sets of results basically are crucial, especially when we get some departments get the average, some departments at the end, some departments just use the summer 2 data, for people to put in sets, but that data is crucial. Okay. In year 10, we basically make sure the students have the revision habits. We teach them how to draw mind maps. We teach them how to use revision cards. And online learning, I just spoke to you about GCSE Pod and Seneca and Educate and revision timetable. There will be a lot of work will be going on this year, form time on this. What you can do is to help you to make sure they're helping them to set up the study at home and make sure they got the simple resources. They've got revision guides, they got the planner somewhere where you can see when your child is coming home what they will be doing. The stationery, their exercise books are their best friends because they are the walking, talking revision guides. because we do invest a lot of time in lessons to make sure that their exercise books looks good. And their exercise books will have the glossary at the end, they got the contents at the front, and they will have you know, a lot of revision cards, and there's a lot of things going on in lesson time, and you can see. So the do check their exercise books. They're not allowed to keep them in school. They have to take them home, and they need to bring them back the next day. But the progress test is all about focus of assessment is effort, okay, and habits and learning. This is what we are judging. You know, are they putting effort in? If they're putting effort in, the results will look good. Have they developed the good habits? If they have developed the good habits, that means, you know, they will be able to cope with the exams. And same thing with the learning. We check their learning and we give them a chance twice a year. So you know what they have done. Grading system is different this year, okay? So your first sets of report you're going to get on 28th, or I think that was the date. Yeah, 26th of September is, you will look like this. So you can see the excellent is 1, 2 is good, 3 is require improvement, and 4 will be poor. So you will have your home learning and your in-class effort grades. And if there's any concern, do not hesitate to contact Ms. Baxter, because she is really super and proactive with the you know, what the reports will look like. And the next set of report in springtime, where you will be getting target grades, the students will be target grades and their current grades. And so level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, level 1, so levels will be there, and then you can see the comparison, how behind they are, and whether they're meeting their levels, and if not, then there is another set of conversation you're going to have with your child and the teachers. And when you come to the parents' evening, you can ask that question, what level my child is working at, okay? And there will be also the effort grades for in-class and effort grades for home learning. And to be honest, that's it from me. And these are the email addresses if you want to communicate with us. So now we're going to look at that chat where we can see if we got any questions left. I know Miss Morgan was constantly. Oh, she said, I should responded to all of them, or
I'm trying to get there. I hope I've been doing a valiant effort. I think there's a couple that are still outstanding.
Yeah.
So support of it. I think about to support available to those students who use a laptop and don't have exercise book. Absolutely. You know, we've got a number of students who use a laptop instead of exercise books. I'm not sure really in terms of what support you mean necessarily. You know, obviously, you know, if some students have got that written as their pupil passports, and they have either their own laptops or laptops from Access and Achievement that they bring to lesson. We make sure that those students are sat near plug sockets when they're in the class and they use their laptops. We encourage students to print out their work as they go along and stick it into their exercise books, because obviously it's much easier to revise from a book than scrolling through documents on you know, that they've got online. So we still you know, really push, you know, kind of organizing the notes in their exercise book. They're just printed out and stuck in instead.
It's a good use of the context page in the book. We are encouraging to write the context of the subject at the front of the book, so it's easier and manageable for them to find where in the book they are revising from, because some of the books I've been looking at, they don't know where they've wrote stuff, they don't know where to revise it. So this is why we encourage the books to come home, because we're encouraging them here. We'd like you as parents to encourage them at home as well, to organize themselves so they don't get stressed out, because it's the books that stress them out.
I hope that's answered. I hope that's answered your question about support for students who use laptops. Obviously, you know, we have, in terms of exam arrangements, if students have got it written into their exam arrangements that they use a word processor, either with spell check enabled or disabled, then, you know, we make sure that, you know, they have that for all of their kind of in-class assessments. Hopefully that's answered your question.
How will do idea?
Okay.
The idea of Ord is different, and Duke of Edinburgh is different. So they both will be running this year. So as soon as we start the Duke of Edinburgh, there will be assembly, and then we will send an email home and then it will start soon this year. But they're two separate things.
I don't know if we're doing them in the right order now or not, but somebody's asked for a link to the reading lists. I can't just remember where they are off the top of my head on the school website. If you go to student life and then the curriculum areas, I think the department ones are linked under there. There is a reading tab on the school website where we've got some other ones. If you're struggling to find it though, please, I'm Miss Morgan, C Morgan, please just send me an email and I will forward you the links. I'm just under pressure. I can't just remember off the top of my head where the links are. Grace has mentioned a Macbeth trip happening soon. Yeah, there's a Macbeth trip that's happening next Wednesday. I think it's in Knowsley. It's to the kind of New Globe Theatre up north. It's quite, we know it's quite soon at the start of term. Students were asked today whether they were interested in it, and they just had to put the name forward to their teacher. And a letter, Miss Whitaker's organising that, so Miss Whitaker will get those students a letter so you can, you know, kind of pay for it and stuff. If Grace just speaks to her English teacher or to Miss Whitaker. What else?
Is there a support for kids who are no interest in doing homework? Yes.
I've spoken to, I think I've spoken to that parent.
Okay, then there is a club,
address.
and if your child is not doing, just let us know, and we make sure that the child is attending the homework club and doing the homework. Do they need to sign up to all these websites? I as a science teacher, we done that as well. For Educate, they need to, you know, the teachers
got login details.
Login details. Speak to your child, yeah.
I think, should I signpost them, because I think I know where we're up to, kind of roughly up to.
Yeah.
Which GCSE revision guides do we recommend? If you go onto Arbor, the ones that the shop, the ones that are there are the ones that curriculum leaders have recommended. So what I have suggested is that if you ask your child what they're studying at the moment, so for example, in English, they're learning Lord of the Flies at the moment. There's loads of English revision guides that they might want at some point, but there's no point buying them all right now. So it makes sense, for example, if your child's interested in an English one, that they buy the Lord of the Flies one right now. But, you know, in terms of which ones to go for, the ones that are on the Arbor shop are the ones we'd recommend. I'm sorry that your daughter was told she couldn't take her PE exercise book home yesterday. Not sure why that was. We're encouraging all students to take them home. Yeah, I've done Macbeth trip. Yeah, the Macbeth trip, we've gone out about it today. We've only had kind of confirmation of it over the last few days. So yeah, I'm not surprised that she's just mentioned it today.
I think we have answered.
Oh, I think we've done everything.
I think we have.
If we've missed anything though, we've not missed anything purposefully. And if something occurs to you, I know I've got two sons, they tell me nothing either. Oh, is that 1.5 hours each of English, maths and science? That's correct, isn't it, Miss Sawa? Yeah, it's 1.5 hours each of those subjects. Oh, work experience question, please. Let me look back up, Paulette. Sorry, I've not meant to ignore you. Let me find it. Sorry, I'm scrolling. Oh gosh, I've missed this. It must have been quite early on. So yeah, sorry, I thought I'd responded to you. So is there an expectation for students to find their own work placements? Yes. Yeah, we really encourage students to find their own, just so that they're getting something that lights them up, you know, that they're really excited by. However, we recognise that you know, not all students have got those kind of a network. Some students will struggle. If they let us know, you know, we do have a bank of work experience placements that we can tap into. So please, nobody worry. Okay, but where possible, we really do encourage them to find their own. Which one?
The advice for college, for special.
Yeah, I've done that one as well. Hopefully we've answered everybody else's there. Zane, if you want to, I think I've already given you my email, but absolutely, my email's on there, C Morgan, so we absolutely can have a face-to-face conversation about home learning. That's no. Oh, Mum, sorry, it's probably hit dead. Sorry, Mum. I have no idea who I was speaking to sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Email me, and I'll email you back tomorrow, and we'll sort out a time. If you might think of a question at some point later or tomorrow or later next week or whatever, you've got our email addresses, and we love chatting to you. We love doing what we can to support. So please just get in touch with us. And thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening. We know it's a big ask. Okay.
But just to let you know, you're in safe hands. Your kids are in safe hands. 2 years with them, we will make sure that we get the best out of them. Okay. But any problems, more communication, the better. Okay. We're going to work as a team for next 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Great team, big team.
And you've got wonderful kids. They are
amazing.
fantastic. They're going to do amazing things. They light up the school. They are amazing. So there's a lot of love.
So well done to you guys.
So thank you.
Well done.
All right. Thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of evening.
What are we going to do?
So,